The reward of goodness is evil. Once upon a time, a man riding a camel who was lagging behind his caravan. He was traveling alone in the desert until he reached the caravanserai. A man stood until tiredness overcame his body. Then he descended from the camel and sat in a corner. His companions who were there before him had lit a fire which they had forgotten to put out when they left. The fire was blazing. A man looked at the fire. Suddenly he saw a large snake trapped in the middle of the fire, with no escape route from any side. The kind-hearted person came across a helpless and burning snake. Despite it being a dangerous enemy, without hesitation, he decided to help. He got up, emptied his loaf of dry bread that was in his sack, and tied it to a long stick. Once the big snake rushed into the sack, the man swiftly removed it from the fire, rescuing the serpent. Gently separating the sack from the stick, he set it down and told the snake, "You are free now. Go anywhere you please." The snake looked meaningfully at the traveler and said, "Oh brave man, although you have been kind to me and saved my life, you know that enmity between snakes and humans is deep-rooted. You have chosen the path of friendship with your enemy and helped me, which is mistake. Therefore, to avoid poisoning myself and emptying my venom, I will not leave from here. The choice is yours, whether I should first sting you or your camel," he added. The traveler, who had never expected to hear such words, with a pale face and trembling voice that smelled of supplication, said, "In the end, I did good to you, and you respond with evil." The determined snake replied, "My actions are just. If you truly want to know the truth of my words, let's bring someone as a witness between us, and ask them to judge between us." They looked at the desert from a distance and saw a buffalo. The man asked the buffalo, "Does the person who does good to someone deserve evil?" The buffalo frowned and answered firmly, "Yes, the purpose of people is to return good with bad. Until recently, I served one of these humans. Every year I would bring them a calf, and their family would benefit from my milk. While I was around, their table was always blessed. But as I aged and couldn't bring them any more calves, my owner hurriedly went to and brought a butcher to sell me to him, so the butcher could slaughter me and sell my meat and hide. I seized the right moment and escaped from the butcher." The snake said, "You heard the buffalo's words, so now." The traveling man interrupted and said, "It's not wise to rely only on one witness. Let's ask for a testimony from another, perhaps a buffalo." The next animal they encountered was an old hunting dog, struggling with its weakness. The man said to himself, "A dog is known for its loyalty, so we can trust his testimony." They asked the dog if it's right for a snake to bite a man who had saved its life. The old dog glared at the man and said, "I used to have a master whom I accompanied on hunts. When I was young, he treated me well, took care of me, and fed me the best food. I was happy with him, but now that I am old and unable to hunt, he has thrown me out of his house despite all the services I provided for him." So you see, the consequence of kindness can turn into bitterness. The snake has the right to bite you, just like I have been treated unfairly." The snake exclaimed, "You heard that? The old dog fully agrees with me." The man said, "Let's forget about animals altogether. Apparently, animals don't like humans, so they judge unfairly. That's why it's better to turn to nature and ask nature for judgment." The snake agreed. Then they looked around and saw a tree in the distance. They went to the tree and explained the situation to it. The tree also confirmed the snake's words and said to the traveler, "In front of many kindness I have done for you humans, I have suffered many pains. I am the only tree in this desert, and you can see that there is no other tree around here." The snake, with a smirk on its face, said, "This is also the testimony of the third witness. Now, have you seen that my words are true? So prepare yourself for what you give to others as a kindness, for this time it will be your own share." Fear had taken hold of the traveler's entire being, and he saw no way to escape the snake's clutches. With a trembling voice, the man said, "If only one more person would testify to witnessing this act, then I would accept it." The snake replied, "There is no escape and no other solution. I accept the testimony of the fourth witness as well." So they set out and reached a spring. The spring also confirmed the snake's words, and the man said, "How could it be possible?" Spring replied, "Sit down and watch." They saw a weary traveler approach and drink from the spring, wash his face, and then wash his nose in the spring's water before departing. The spring said, "You saw him drink the water, quench his thirst, and washed his face. So what was the purpose of washing his nose?" The man had no other way of escape, so he looked up to the sky and said, "God, what calamity has befallen me? How can goodness be rewarded with evil?" A fox who had been observing the events as they unfolded revealed itself to them. The fox said to the man, "What has happened to you? Why are you so distressed and worried?" The man said to the snake, "We have taken all these testimonies. Let this fox also judge us the last chance. I have no more words." They approached to the fox, and before the traveler asked the fox's opinion, the fox said with a loud voice that sounded like a scream, "Man, you don't know that good is rewarded only with bad?" For a few moments, only silence prevailed. Then the fox turned to the man and said gently, "Tell me, what good have you done to the snake?" The traveler said, "This snake was trapped in a blazing fire. I saw it had no way to escape, and my heart was moved with pity, so I saved it." The fox said, "Oh man, it is evident from your face that you are a good and a faithful man. Then why did you lie?" The man said, "Everything I said is true." The fox with astonishment said, "I never believed these words of yours. Explain to me how you saved it from the fire." The man said, "When I saw that the fire was spreading so much that it was impossible to approach, I tied my sack to a long stick and set the stick on fire so that the snake would go into the sack. Then I pulled the stick out of the fire. While the fox tried to show more surprise, he reached out his hands toward to the sack and said, "How is it possible for such a small sack to contain such a large snake? Come on, prove your words. Open the sack and let the snake in, so that your words will be proven true." "I judge between you." The man, without saying a word, opened the sack and laid it on the ground. The proud snake was deceived by the fox's cunning and slipped quietly into the sack without saying a word. Immediately the fox said to the man, "Hurry, tie the sack tightly." The man did the same. The fox said, "Now and be aware that when you bind your enemy, do not give him a chance, for if he escapes from the binding, you are not safe." The traveler said, "You speak the truth. The time I saved it from burning in the fire, it wanted to compensate for my goodness by pouring its venom. Now that I have bound it, if it escapes, I have no more chance." Then he lifted the sack and pounded it forcefully on the ground. With the same stick that had saved it, he killed the snake. The fox said, "Goodness is rewarded with goodness, and the snake's stinging is because of its nature and character. Those animals and creatures who said that the goodness is rewarded with evil do so because of humans' wrong behavior toward them. In this world, there are both good and bad people. Just as the behavior of some humans has been wrong, it's not a reason to question the law of existence and say that the reward of goodness is evil." The traveler continued his journey on the camel, thinking about the words of the buffalo, tree, and fox, and how other living beings view humans. He thought about his own behavior, whether humans are good or bad, and evaluated his behavior towards nature and animals. And there you have it, folks, a powerful reminder that kindness knows no bounds. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more thought-provoking content, and share this video with your friends. Until next time, stay curious and keep spreading kindness. See you in the next video.